Regression analysis. By definition, statistical techniques or a technique used to determine the relationship between two or more variables and to predict the value of one variable based on the value of another variable. So, kama nimeona umeshika bairo hivi, najua unataka kuandika. So, how do you predict that? Okay? If you see that today, jua ni kali hivi, inamaanisha for the next 3 days hakutanyesha. We can predict that. So sisi watu wenye tunafanya mambo na mahesabu mingi, kazi yetu sasa tunaweka na formula zake. So it helps to answer questions like, how does advertising affect sales? So you'll be working next year. I don't think utakuwa hapa, si ndio? Utakuwa wapi? Na utarudi home. Ama unasoma urudi home. Tarasa. Utakuwa somewhere in isn't it? And then you'll be told, let's use 10,000 to advertise. Hii pesa itatoka wapi? Sawa, tumetumia. Itarudi from sales. So how will it affect sales? So wewe utakaa chini na kalamu yako na kitabu yako na kompyuta yako upiga hesabu, you can see it will help you to answer that question. Okay? How does study time affect examination performance? Like now, science ngapi? Inamaanisha 10:30 tutakuwa tumeachieve percentage ngapi ya kusoma. That is what we mean, okay? So the variable being predicted is called what? A dependent variable. The variable used for prediction is called dependent, and the other one is called the independent. So what are the objectives? Example. So you can look at this example. If you look at hours studied and marks obtained, this is X, this is Y. Okay? So if you study for 2 hours, you get that one. You study for 4 hours, you get 45 minutes. Study for 6 hours, you get 55. Study for 8 hours, you get what? 70. How can you say that relationship? How can you comment on that relationship? As study hours increase, marks also increase. Regression analysis helps to establish this relationship mathematically. Objectives of regression analysis. Regression analysis is used to one, determine the relationship between variables. Determine the relationship between variables. 2, predict future values. 3, measure the effect of one variable on another. Measure the effect of one variable on another. Number 4, assist in planning and decision making. Assist in planning and decision making. And 5, estimate unknown values. Estimates unknown values. Fine. Basic terminology. basic terminology. One, we have independent variable. This is x. Independent variable. So this is the variable that influences another variable. Example, or examples, advertising expenditure. Advertising expenditure. If you advertise more, you get more sales. That is one, advertising expenditure. Hours studied. Hours studied. This is the influence performance. Yeah. Rainfall. Rainfall. Kukinyesha. What will happen? Utakuwa na food. Fine. So that is the independent variable. Another thing, another terminology, you have dependent. This is why. Dependent variable is y. This is the variable affected by independent variable. Affected by the independent variable. By this, it's affected by x. Example. Example nilipeana independent variable ilikuwa gani ya kwanza? Advertising expenditure. Nayo independent variable example ya kwanza itakuwa sales revenue. Sindio? If you advertise more, what will you get? More sales. Another example, examination marks. Examination marks. And the last example is crop yield. Tunaendelea pamoja. Then we have number C, regression line. Regression line is a straight line, showing the average relationship between two variables. Scatter diagram. So a scatter diagram is a graphical representation showing the relationship between variables. A graphical representation showing the relationship between variables. Sawa, tunaendelea. Types of regression. Number one, simple regression. Simple regression involves only one independent variable. Example says is imeongezeka kwa sababu ya pricing. That's a simple regression. So, in short, it says is a function of advertising. And then when you're using this x and y, you can say y is a plus b x. In high school, mulisoma hiyo. Y is mx plus c, so that you can get the gradient. So y is a plus bx, where y is x is, then kuna a kuna b. So y is dependent variable. Y is dependent variable. X is independent variable. X is independent variable. A is constant. So y will be dependent, highly dependent. Then this is constant, and B is what? Regression coefficient, which is the slope. Second one is multiple regression. Multiple regression, it involves two or more. Involves two or more independent variable. Sales depends on advertising. What else? So, what is sales? What is sales? It's the revenue obtained from selling the products, isn't it? So it depends on what? On advertising. It also depends on what? On economics. Doesn't go to it. It also depends on price, and it also depends on income level. Yeah. You can do advertising, lakini bei yako iko juu. Sindio? What will you do? Like right now, kuna vitu zina advertisiwa na tuwezi afford. Hata washindi hapo waki-advertise, price yake tuwezi fikia, isn't it? Even our income level. So, that is a multiple regression. So the equation of a multiple regression, equation yake iko hivi. Y is A plus B1 x1 plus B2 x2 plus B3 x3 kuendelea. Scatter diagram. A scatter diagram is the first step in regression analysis. Each pair of values is plotted on a graph. We are talking about two values, isn't it? Graph in a kind, isn't it? So, which is dependent, which is independent? Ni gani x, ni gani y? Ni x na hii ni y. Kwa hivyo hii ni sales, hii ni advertising. Yeah? So when you plot it, alafu compare hivi, how will you interpret it? It will be a positive correlation. Remember tulifanya correlation. So each pair of values is plotted on a graph. Then you have A, positive correlation. Positive correlation, both variables move in the same direction. Example, income and expenditure, advertising and sales. Those are two examples. We also have negative correlation. Variables move in opposite directions. Variables move in opposite directions. Variables move in opposite directions. Examples: price and demand. Tukiplot price and demand, itatupea nini? Itakuja hivi. Kwa sababu example is price and demand, and another example is speed and travel time. Speed and travel time. No correlation. So here there is no clear pattern. No clear pattern. So when you plot it, inakujaga hivi. So is it this way, is it this way, is it this way? No clear pattern. Something that is not clear. Linear regression equation. The regression line is represented by y is a plus bx, where y, a, b, and x, where y is predicted value, a is y intercept, b is slope of regression line, and x is independent variable. Calculating regression coefficients. Formula. Formula for slope. This is B. So B is n summation of xy minus summation of x summation of y divided by n summation of x squared minus summation of x squared. Like that. That is the formula for slope. What about formula for intercept? Formula for intercept, we get it by A is equals to summation of y minus B summation of x over n. Example: the following data shows advertising expenditure and sales. So this is advertising and this is sales. So we said that this is x and this is y. So advertising 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Sales 10, 15, then 18, 25, 30. But when we want to get the regression coefficient, what we normally do, we have been given this data. Okay? Here we itakuwa position. Then calculate the regression coefficient. The first thing, what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to prepare calculation table. So the first step 1, prepare calculation table. Sasa kitu tatafuta ni nini? XY, sindio? Na nini ingine? Na x squared. So quickly, unasema mko na calculator, nipe XY. 2 times 10. 60. X squared ni nini? Ngapi? 4, 16, 36, 64, 900. So our totals, summation of x, ngapi? 30. Sawa? Summation of y? Summation of xy? Summation of x squared? 20. Sawa. That's the first step. Sawa. Tukumbuke kusema n is then, step 2, calculate what? Calculate B. So you a formula. So, you substitute this in the formula, you calculate B, and when you do it correctly, you're supposed to get B is equals to 2.5. Then, step 3, calculate A. Calculate A. Use the same formula, the other formula for A. Then you calculate and get your A. When you use the formula for getting A, you calculate A, you're supposed to get A is 4.6. Then, our regression equation will be what? Y is 4.6 plus 2.5x. That is our regression equation. And if you plot it, and if you don't plot it, so we have said that when advertising is 0, the expected sales is 4.6. Every additional unit of advertising increases sales by 2.5. So without advertising, sales is at a decrease. Tukiadvertise ni 0, sales is 4.6. Tukiadvertise is in an increase by 2.5. So you can interpret it this way. Every additional unit of advertising increases sales by 2.5 units. By 2.5 units. And then another point. When advertising is 0, another interpretation. When advertising is 0, expected sales is 4.6 units.